Oh dear, what's going on? Oh, blimey, you're already here. Oh dear, excuse me. I was just relaxing. You know what, we've got so much time on our hands at the moment. I was just sat down listening to some of my favourite music by Dvorak, Ninth Symphony, if you wanted to know which one, New World. Oh, and I was gone. Dear, oh dear. Nice to be able to do that though, isn't it? It's one of the advantages. Oh dear. Now, where was I? Well, I hadn't started, of course. Anyway. Pleased to see you. I'm delighted by the reaction to the first video from Dave Griffiths. So I've got a question now. Let's see if we can keep the momentum going. Tom Syler from Stark County, Ohio in the States. Actually the first email question that came in. Hi Brian, enjoy your videos. My problem is balance. I'm 88 years old and suffer from arthritis in my ankles and reduced flexibility in general. Doing some of the drills suggested by Sean Herron, I am afraid I will fall. I think I know what he's talking about there. We'll talk about that later. What do you suggest as a finished position and maybe some drills to help with the balance? Thank you in advance. Well, Tom, I think this is a big subject. I would say that the vast majority of golfers suffer with poor balance, and at 68 I can tell you that as you age, your balance tends to get worse. So can we do anything about it? The good news is yes. So I'm going to help you with balance. I'm going to give you some ideas as to how to finish, and tell you one or two little stories, personal stories along the way. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually just show you the drills, because they're so easy. I've got my hole-in-one swing trainer. It's nice and short. You see, I haven't got very high ceilings in my apartment. Got some low-hanging lights as well. I've got to be careful not to hit them, because I've done that in the past, which is why my last partner left me. She got fed up of picking up the broken glass. Anyway, so let's just show you a swing first, and I think this is the swing that you're all looking to integrate into your game. Good, no damage done. But look at what I've got now. I've got a nice, balanced, relaxed finish. So let's just tell you a little bit more about that. So the first drill to help you achieve that, and this is thanks to David Blair, Scottish pro, and I met him many years ago, and this is something I learned from him. So you address the ball, or address the ground, and of course this is a very short club, so it's not touching the ground. So step one, stand up with a club in front of you and your hands and arms relaxed and close to you. Step two, put the shaft on your front shoulder. Left shoulder for us, right shoulder for the lefties. And then we use our feet, knees and legs, and we turn into a finish. And hey presto, we're there. And you'll note my elbows are low, my hands are low, and the shaft is on my shoulder. Now that might surprise a lot of people, because you've been taught about width and extension, and that's where you get the power from. But look at what happens. When I stretch like that, I get pulled off my feet. How am I going to finish if I've lost my balance in the middle of the swing? Okay. Drill number two. So this has no backswing, no downswing, and it is simply, you're going from the address position, you're going to go forward slowly, you're going to fold your arms, not looking for width, and all of a sudden you're there. Okay? Just moving forward and relaxing and folding. Now, these are things that you can do even without a club. So you can imagine, I've got a club in my hand, because your imagination is fabulous. Stand up, shaft on my shoulder, turn through. So you don't even need a club. This part of the swing, from here to there, is the most important part of the golf swing. Tommy Horton was an English pro from the Isle of Jersey, great player, played in the Ryder Cup, often the best player in the Open Championship, and I had a wonderful career as a senior. Lovely man. And because I knew him, because he was a school friend of my first boss, and I was out playing the tournament circuit somewhere and having lunch, having just failed to pass the cut or something. And he sat and had a long chat with me, and he said, Brian, he's obviously seen me practicing and seen me fiddling about with all this sort of stuff. And he said, Brian, that's not important. He said, the business part of the golf swing is that part. Most of us don't ever get to hear that. But when you think about it, you can do you can be in the perfect position up here and hardly get through the shot, and it's not going to work. So, so that's how to practice and develop it. And when you get there, if you can, hold it for 5 seconds. You might wobble a bit, but the more you do it, the less you'll wobble. I'm stiff jointed. If I put my hands here, I can't get them. I couldn't get a club and put it behind my head and down my back. I just can't do it. Never have been able to. I'm stiff jointed. And of course, as I get older, I get stiffer. So I've got to do something about that. And one of the main things I found is that if I stay loose, I'm not going to say I'm going to be as loose as a limbo dancer, but I'm as loose as I can. Now I've got a chance. And of course, with good footwork and allowing everything to move, rather than all these fixed points that they want you to have, then I've got half a chance. And I want to just tell you that in 1998 I had a back operation which fused the second vertebrae up in my spine. The first one was already fused at birth. So I'm even stiffer because I've got less movement there. So I've never touched the ground in my life. Well, I've fallen down a few times depending on how many glasses of wine I've had, but that's another story. So if I'm tense, and unfortunately, hopefully you understand that from the message in our videos and the message in my book, everything we've been taught, all that traditional stuff, the 3 deadly don'ts, develop tension. Tension's the #1 killer to golfers, and it blocks our joints. A joint can't move freely to its full extension and to its full capabilities if it's surrounded by tight tendons and muscles. It just won't happen. So if you think of an orchestra conductor, he won't grip his baton like that. First of all, it'd be jerky and the music would be awful, because he hardly holds it. And look at the fluidity with which he'll make his movements, thus producing from the orchestra some very, very rhythmical and expressive music. So tension's very, very important, and I would suggest in particular I see shoulder tension. I see so many golfers up here, and of course blocked, can't go any further, can you? If I relax, look what happens. Even my old back can turn further. So anything you can do to relax shoulders, like address the golf ball, don't stand there static and getting stiff. Move. Golf's a movement. You've got to prepare to move. Okay? Shake all that tension out. Okay. I also want to tell you something else about my back operation, because when I came back to playing golf, my balance was all over the place, and of course I was frightened to go through the ball because I've just had all this stuff going on. So I didn't get through, so I lost my balance and I had a cramp in my calf muscles and all sorts for quite a long time. But bit by bit, particularly because I started doing exercises and things like this that I do 30 times in the morning, each leg, 30 times in the evening. There are days when I don't do it so well. There are days where one of my legs is a little bit worse than the other, and you'll see I'm wobbling a bit, but I'm giving myself a chance to self-correct, and then I'm getting it back again. I'm fighting it, I'm challenging it. And the brain is so clever. It will find ways of improving. I heard recently, there's a book I've been reading about the brain, and there's a lady who lost half of her brain in an accident. Half her brain. And she lived very well as the other half of her brain took on responsibilities bit by bit that had been lost with the other side. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing here. So challenge your balance, and if you've got to start by just doing this and leaning on one foot, stay there, and lean on the other foot and stay there until things settle down, and then you can start lifting the other foot and just see if you can stay there for a while. okay, and then you get more adventurous, and bit by bit, who knows, you can start doing things like that and not losing your balance. So over a period of time, you've got a wonderful period of time now in your lives where you've got to fill your time, and anything you can do that will end up with you playing better golf, what an investment. So there's another quote that I like, which is by Art Linkletter, who the Americans will know, who's a TV presenter, humanist and journalist, and he said, "Things turn out best for the people who make the best of the way things turn out." So we've got a dreadful situation around us. We're anxious, we're shocked, so it's troubling. So, but we've got to do things, and we've got to find things, objectives and targets and challenges, and not just sit around all day watching the television. And if I may say so, watching television with everything that's going on, and I did for the first few days, because I've been like this for a week now. First few days I was watching everything, and I thought, oh, this is not doing me any good. No. So I limit how much I watch these TV programs, because too much of it is just going to have a very damaging effect on our psyche, I think. Okay, so I want to talk about a couple more things that I believe lead us to not being able to finish and not being able to keep our balance. And just a very quick story about it that I called Niels, 82-year-old, 6'4", big guy, came to see Sean and I in Mallorca because I like to coach with my coaches, so they see me operating and, oh, this is how you did that. And so he was with us for 2 hours. First thing, Niels, what would you like to get from these 2 hours? Oh, I'd love to hit the ball a bit further. Because of course, as we get older, we all would love to hit it further. But so we watched him hit some shots, and he had a swing that was, he looked like he was chipping the ball, and his 3-wood was just about going to 75 metres. So Niels, how would you teach a beginner? What are the important things? Oh, he said, that's easy. He said, I'll teach them to keep their head down and follow through. Ah, head down and follow through. Well, as you get older, keeping your head down and following through, they just are not compatible. So we helped him to understand that. We helped him to realise that he could actually move. His swing got bigger, and he ended up hitting his last few shots about 150 metres. Effortlessly, just because he had a bigger swing. So the danger is we end up with a shorter and shorter, stiffer, tighter little swing, can't hit the ball. We need to swing the club. Now, I'm not saying you need to go miles back there, no, but the things we're talking about you can do in small form, and if your finish is only here, it doesn't matter if you haven't gone all the way through, but at least you're relaxed, and that relaxation will help you to develop a bit more speed. So we talked about head down with Niels, but I also want to say that I've met one lady in particular in the last few years whose game had completely gone, and what I discovered was she'd been taught to keep her head behind the ball and her hands in front of the club head, and she was such a good student, lovely lady as well, and no follow through. She got to the ball and hardly ever got past it. So understanding that over quite a long period of time, because it's been quite a few years in the making, and it took a while, but luckily I and one or two of my coaches and one or two other people have helped her, and now she's playing golf again. So be careful about damaging things like that. Swing the club, throw the club through, this nice finish, and I'm pretty convinced that that will help you. There is a video that I hope to attach to the end of this video, so you better click on it at the end, and I'll also write, because I'll write the question, as I did with Dave's the other day, I'll write the question out and I'll put a link. I don't think I can put a link, but I can actually put it so you can then paste and copy it into your browser. Well, I'm getting full of modern technology now. Okay, so I'm sure that using some of those ideas, and at this particular time being able to do them on a regular basis, will help. So I would just like one thing more. I'd like some feedback from you as to the length of these videos. First one was 13 minutes. I have a sneaking suspicion that because I've been chattering on, this one might be a bit longer. What do you think is ideal? Give me any ideas you can about how long the videos should be and how often you'd like to see them. The first one went out on Wednesday, and I'm thinking about putting this one out on Friday, so that you've got a couple of days in between, because what I don't want to do, another quote from my book from Anthony J. D'Angelo, who is an educationalist in America, who said, in your thirst for knowledge, take care not to drown in all the information. So I don't want to give you too much information, but what I do want to do is see if we can cut through all of the noise and get to some simple basics to help you develop your own easiest swing. Thanks for watching again, thanks for being with us. Sorry about the thing earlier on. I'll see if I can be awake next time when you arrive. Anyway, thanks very much indeed. See you the next time.